Good afternoon and welcome to the Story Behind the Stories, your weekly look at the pages of the Neepawa Banner Press. Thank you very much for taking a little bit of your time and spending it here with us on NACTV. I'm Eoin Devereux with the Banner Press, welcoming you to this week's edition, the February 28th edition of both the program and the newspaper. Joined this week by fellow journalist Casper Wehrhahn. Casper, good to have you here again for this week.
Good to be here again. We got I think a pretty good paper to go through again this week, Eoin.
Not too bad. A real fresh perspective on a couple very interesting and intriguing stories. We're very glad we were able to track down for you, and we're going to cover for you over the next 30 some odd minutes. All right, let's start as always with the front page. This one we were very appreciative of some representatives from the town of Neepawa, as well as some of our local supporters of the Banner Press, because they forwarded us a bunch of pictures from the Winterfest celebrations. It was wonderful to see. For those of you that were unfamiliar, these were originally scheduled for Louis Riel Day here in Manitoba, Family Day in many other spots and locations throughout Canada is what it's known as, but here, Louis Riel Day. And because of the cold, just the frigid temperatures that were a part of it on that day, they decided to postpone it. They figured, you know what, it's not going to be as much fun when you're freezing your butt off out there in trying to enjoy the festivities. So they moved it back a week, and boy did they've set that up really quite nicely, because the day they picked, the Sunday they picked on the 23rd, if I remember correctly, it was picture perfect weather-wise. It was in and around zero for most of the day. It was pleasant, it was mild. People were able to get out there, enjoy the festivities, such as the horse-drawn carriages. They were still able to skate on the ice rink that's out there. They were able to enjoy the hills, build snow people, and it was just, holy cow. I mean, you couldn't have asked for better, really, in terms of how it all blended together. And we are so happy to be able to share a montage of some of those pictures on the front page of this week's paper. I got to admit, I didn't go myself. I was at that exact same time covering an event at the Yellowhead Center, but it still looked like it was a whole heap and a lot of fun. But let's throw to you, Casper. What are your take?
I mean, it sure did look like a lot of fun, and as Eoin mentioned, well, the weather and the sun kind of cooperated really well there, and so there was snow people being made this year. And I have to say, to my recollection, I don't think we've had weather cooperate in such a way that we could do snow people when this typically has been held. So that's kind of a nice bonus there for the kids and the rest of their families there too. Just a little extra activity for them to do and enjoy the day.
It was really nice, and very nice to be able to share it with you on the pages of the Banner Press. Front page, very important. We like to sort of make it a visually interesting front page from time to time as best we can. But sometimes we also got to report some serious stuff. And this week's edition is a little bit of hodgepodge, an amalgamation of both those aspects of the newspaper. We have a separate story on the front page, a release we got from media for the RCMP, Spruce Plains RCMP, along with other representatives, including Sandy Bay, if I remember correctly, Sandy Bay Police Service, working together on an arrest of 4 individuals in the area. Now, we're going to leave the specifics in the story itself, because I don't want to sort of innocent until proven guilty and whatnot. But I will share, again, the story behind this. Over the past few weeks, we have been receiving a lot of phone calls and a few emails from people saying, hey, you need to press the RCMP on this, because there's some rural individuals, farm homesteads, that have been dealing with some break-ins. And they've been saying, you got to get to the RCMP to really sort of clamp down, give us some information on that, what's going on with that. So we are very appreciative of not just this release that came out this week, but last week as well. There were 2 bits of information that came up from the RCMP. Now, I don't know whether that is due to pressure that has been coming down as of late to sort of be a little more transparent in terms of what is going on in rural Manitoba or not. We don't want to take credit for that about what they're doing. We are just very appreciative that the RCMP have been able to share some of this information with us in terms of what happened. And what happened is 4 individuals have been arrested. We can't say for certain right now, innocent until proven guilty, we can't say for certain right now there is any connection between some of the break-ins and some of the rural homesteads, these individuals right now, but there are 4 that have been arrested, and an investigation is ongoing. So, a little bit of Law and Order, sort of one of those cop procedural shows you see on network TV type thing going on right now. It's Spruce Plains RCMP.
Indeed, yes. And I mean, with stuff like this, of course, there's only certain details that can be released at any given time. So, sometimes maybe we get a call and people ask us to look into something. We maybe can't quite get the information they're hoping to get, but that's just because there's procedures police need to go through. Maybe there's an ongoing investigation, so they can't share more than what's already been stated and all that sort of stuff. So whatever they have available, whenever they send it to us, we do put that out there as much as possible. And if there's anything that comes to us and we go to them for, we put as much out as we can.
Because again, the thing is as well, is there sometimes we are privy to some information that we can't share, that we just are completely unable to, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. That we can't share with you because of the sensitivity of the investigation, the ongoing investigation that is going on. And it's a fine balance as a representative of the media in informing the public and being respectful to sources and representatives there. But we got to find that midpoint in between. And something like this, fortunately, is that nice little in between. So we are appreciative that they were able to share this information with us so that we can share it with you right on the front page of our paper. All right, let's get into some of our special features this week. The first edition for 2025 of our annual Farmers Advocate section. Each year, each month, for about 10 of those months, 10 of the 12, we do a special agriculturally based feature talking about some of the intriguing things that are going on in the farm sector. We try and localize it as best we can. We try and get some information for you in there that is specialized for things that you might be interested in. And not just for people who are in the ag sector, but the general consensus as well, the general public. I think it's very important that people who, quote unquote, aren't part of the ag sector, you're part of the ag sector whether you know it or not. Your life is daily impacted by the ebbs and flows of Canadian agriculture. Don't doubt that for a second. So I think it's very important that it is respected and represented in the pages of the paper as best we can. And that's part of what the Advocate is about sharing some of the positivity that's going on and some of the changes that are going on right now. So Ken Waddell has a short story in there about the beef sector and the obvious tensions when it comes to tariffs between Canada and the United States of America. Beef trade into the U.S. is something that's very big and will have a significant impact on Manitoba producers. We also got information on the new general manager for Keystone Agricultural Producers, as well as some information on an Oak Lake rancher being awarded Producer of the Year from Manitoba Angus. We're very proud to be able to share those stories with you and share a little bit of the insight. So if you have a chance, it's a special section inside our regular paper, the Farmers Advocate. You can find it in the Neepawa Banner Press. And as well, you can find it in the Rivers Banner and the Verdun Empire Advance. It's distributed through all 3 papers, although just between you and me, we're the ones that do the actual work. Look, that's the truth. If you see the Farmers Advocate, we did it. We worked our butts off to get it done. So Verdun, Rivers, you're welcome. I'm just having some fun. We're very appreciative because they've helped us out on occasion as well. So it's a nice little partnership, but we're the big brother. All right, I think I've gotten myself in enough trouble now. But let's get into our specific features here. Casper, you got a couple tips last week, a little bit of information about some established businesses a couple different established businesses in Neepawa with some new perspectives and some new ownership.
Absolutely, and at the very least, one of these is definitely something that we've had a story on before, of course, when it was initially opened, and that is Rock and Animal House. This business has recently changed hands, about 2 months ago, actually, and the new owners have been received really well by the community and have some plans for some expansion of what they have in shop there. So that'll be very interesting, I guess, for all the people that have patronized them before to see what's up and coming there, and maybe give a warm hello and congratulations to the new owners, Kevin Kitson and Darina Scott, and of course their prior employee that has been staying there for quite a while, since about, I think it was 2019, with the prior owners. That was, I have the name here, Hannah McDonald. She has stayed on with them and has given them a lot of knowledge about the business, since this is their first time getting into something like this. So you can find those details on page 2. But as Owen said, there is some other businesses that have had some changes and updates recently, and that is actually on page, I wrote it down, page 6. There we go, I'm finding the pages now. And that is to do with Best Choice Auto and Provo Signs. So Best Choice Auto is actually moving to a new location, and so is Provo Signs. In conjunction with that, I should also state that Best Choice Auto has bought Provo Signs. So a little bit of expansion of business there, a change of ownership, a change of location. So be sure to take a look at those details as well on page 6, learn a little bit more about it, and yeah, give them their congratulations.
Well, it's kind of interesting to see that, because you wouldn't think, for the most part, that auto sales and signage would sort of be an amalgamation company that comes together like that, but apparently it is. You know, it'd be like McDonald's deciding to start selling electric vehicles, you know.
Yeah, but it's sort of a unique combination. Yeah.
But again, we wish both businesses well on their continued success and establishment within the town of Neepawa. So we hope that they're going to continue on for years to come. If you want to find out, once again, a little bit more about each of these new ownership with these businesses, you can find it in the February 28th edition of the Banner Press, which you can find physical copies in 30 different communities throughout Western Manitoba. Always remember, if you're able to pick up a hard copy of it in Neepawa, Gladstone, Carberry, Minnedosa, St. Rose, Brandon, I could name off a bunch others. Actually, no, I couldn't. Those are the only 5 that come to mind off the top of my head right now. But you can. Yeah, you can find a couple different locations. You can find about 25 different locations that I didn't even mention, and find a copy of it each and every week. And if you're unable to find physical copies of it, you just didn't try hard enough. but maybe you did, and you can find it online at. Are we still My West Banner, or are we Neepawa Banner.com?
Neepawa Banner, but if you do go to the old website, it should reroute you to the new. So all set there.
What we did is we made a little bit of a tweak to our online presence, NeepawaBanner.com, because the suggestion was always made, and I made this suggestion even when I wasn't here at the Banner Press, is that when you're looking for Neepawa-related news, the first thing you punch in is Neepawa, not Westman. And even though mywestman.ca is a great portal, it's a great sort of location for it, it's not the one people immediately think of. Though they'd probably punch in Neepawa Banner and Press, or something like that. So we decided to tweak it just a little bit to make it easier for you, if you're not from the area and you don't know the details, to sort of track us down in terms of our online presence. So if you're not able to find physical representation of the paper, you can always find it online, until Elon Musk takes that over too and turns it into a pay-to-play. But until then, you can find it for free on the free internet portion of the internet. So there you go. We're just flying right through because we got so much to talk about. And this next one, I sat down for a couple hours over at Boston Pizza because that's where the meeting was held. It was in regard to the Neepawa Wildlife Association. They were holding a meeting with some conservation officers, as well as representatives from the province to talk about Lake Eoin, the viability, the future of Lake Eoin, some of the successes that have been going on over the last couple years to keep it as a viable piece of water, of land and lake here in the Neepawa area. So I'm very, very pleased to be able to share some of those details with you, because if I had to sit in a 2-hour meeting talking about fishing and fish, you got to do it too, all right? I tried to set it up as best I could so that you can get through all the fish stuff as best you can and learn what's important about the viability of the NWA and of Lake Eoin. Like, just between you and me, sometimes you got to go to things that are a little boring. Sometimes you got to go do things you don't want to do. That's just the reality of life. Quite honestly, if I had a choice between taking a nap and going to a town council meeting, I'd rather take the nap. But I get paid to go to council meetings. I don't get paid to nap. God, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Sure would.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine.
But that's the reality of it, because it's very important information that comes from a council meeting that I need to be able to share with you that impacts your daily life. Now, you might not think Lake Eoin impacts your daily life, and maybe it doesn't, but it's still something very important to our community, to our region. It is a body of water that has significant history here and to the beautiful plains, and we want to preserve it as best we can. And that's why an organization like the Neepawa Wildlife Association deserves a little bit of recognition, deserves a little bit of respect for what they've done. Like, for example, we've done stories in the past about the aeration system that they installed in there. And they gave us an update at this particular meeting over the last year about what the aeration system has been able to do and how it's been able to have a positive impact on Lake Eoin. So I am very happy. Even though, quite honestly, I'd have rather been at home watching the hockey game, I am very glad, for the most part, that I was able to be there to learn this information, to learn about the successes the NWA is having right here in the area, and to be able to share that information with you. So even if you don't think fish and fishing is something that you're into, just take a minute just to educate yourself just a little bit on that. And I think you will take something away from it. Or maybe you won't. But either way, I think it's important to be supportive. Even for things that you're not directly connected to or think you're connected to, I think it's nice to be supportive of them in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely, yeah. There's some good details in there, and I hope you will take a few minutes to take a look at this, become acquainted with it yourself, and give a little appreciation to Eoin here for doing a good job of giving you the abridged version, as it were, with all the important details condensed like this.
I spent 2 hours learning about fish, so you don't have to. All right, let's talk about one other thing that maybe you don't think has a direct impact on you and yours, but is still something so important and so significant for our community because it gives back to our community. It's a new endeavor we've talked about a few times in the pages of paper. It's Habitat for Humanity Neepawa. We've got ourselves an amazing update that we're very pleased and we're very proud to be able to share with you. And Casper, you got the details specifically in regard to that this week.
Yes, I sure did. You can actually find that over on page 7 here, the full details of this story. But essentially what this comes down to really is an announcement, kind of, that they don't have the family quite nailed down yet, but they are announcing that they are expecting to be able to reveal who the family is soon. That is going to be associated with their very first house that's going to be built in Neepawa for Habitat Humanity Manitoba Neepawa chapter. So that's very exciting.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, big mouthful. So that's very exciting. And I had the opportunity to speak to Don Wamsley, who's associated with Habitat for Humanity Neepawa, and just what that means for them, sort of the excitement behind that exactly, because, with how this works, it is sort of built to accommodate the family. So you do kind of have to wait, Eoin, until that family is nailed down so that you can know exactly how many rooms and all that you need. so that this is a big step for them, and they're really hoping to be able to announce, do that big of an announcement here very soon, and of course get to the groundbreaking. So although they don't have a set date yet for the groundbreaking, so they still need to, dot the I's, cross the T's, and all that. They are hoping to get that going very soon, either in the spring or later on here. They are working around a bit of a schedule because, as we have mentioned before, actually on this show, this is a very agricultural area, and they know that. They're aware of that, and they're making that schedule work for them. So they're being very conscious of all the people who need to get on the ground when the time comes and get out on their fields and take care of what they need to. So take a look at that, and when the time comes, show them your support with that announcement.
It is really nice to see so much of the community, even in the preliminary stages of Habitat for Humanity, coming together, learning a little bit more about it, and being able to offer a little bit of support, a little bit of help, whether it's a financial. We've done so many sort of photo ops with organizations and groups and individuals giving money to Habitat for Humanity to get them off the ground, or even some of the meetings that have been going on to introduce themselves to the area, and the amount of people that have come out to learn a little bit more. It's been very uplifting. I really like to see it because in my prior dealings, I used to work, as you may know, if you're a loyal and consistent reader and viewer of the Story Behind the Stories. I used to work in Portage La Prairie for several years for a radio station, and the Portage La Prairie Habitat for Humanity was so strongly entrenched in that community. I remember many a time going down to a location as the houses were being built, getting pictures, getting interviews, talking to people, talking to volunteers who were taking time out for no other reason other than they saw the value in it and they wanted to help out in any way, shape, or form that they could. Helping out sometimes can be a little daunting. Some people think, well, if I only give an hour, they're going to be mad at me because I only gave an hour. No, never look at it that way. Always look at it this way. You gave an hour. They are so appreciative that you gave an hour. You gave a half hour. You gave $5. You gave $2, whatever. It doesn't matter. Giving something, even if it's the smallest amount that you can, is still giving. Too many people get caught up in that and think, no, I can't do it. I can't give that small amount, so I won't give it all. No. You have to look at it from a whole different perspective. And that's something I saw very clearly in the terms of Portage La Prairie's Habitat for Humanity. Even if it was just driving in a few nails, even if it was giving a check for $5, even if it was the littlest things, they all add up. If 1,000 people give $5, that's a whole lot of money compared to somebody giving $100. So, don't look at it in that way. Look at it in the grander perspective. And that's what the people at Habitat for Humanity are doing. And that's what so many of our local charitable organizations are doing. Like, branch that out even beyond this. Every little bit helps. Always remember that. Every little bit. And we're very pleased to be able to share some of the details on Habitat for Humanity, and we'll continue to do so, right from the first shovel in the ground to handing over the keys to a new home to a family that is very needful of it and very appreciative. All right, I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to get off my soapbox right now. I've done my little diatribe for the show, as I usually do. We only got a few minutes left. We're just very quickly going to go through a couple of things sports-related wise. So there were several very important things on the go as of late. The Neepawa Titans are very pleased to be able to have notched their ticket, stamped their ticket, whatever cliche you want to use, into the postseason for the Manitoba Junior Hockey League for the second straight year. They did it in a win over the Wehrhahn Wolverines over the weekend, and with that as well, and a win against the Winnipeg Freeze a couple days later. Not only have they inked their place in the playoffs, but they have established for the first time in a generation, 15 years, they are going to have a winning record at the end of the year. That is amazing. I'm going to have a follow-up story on that specifically in next week's edition of the paper. Because again, 15-year period. 2009, 2010 is the last time they had more wins than losses at the end of the year. So this is something I think we need to celebrate, and I hope very much that you do celebrate it in some way, shape, or form by supporting the team come the postseason. If it's going to a game, fabulous. If it's doing any sort of things to sort of show your support for them, that would be greatly appreciated, because they give so much to the community behind the scenes as an organization that I hope that you'll take the time to give a little bit back to them. As well, we're talking a little bit about the Tiger Hills Hockey League. I've always been a proponent and a cheerleader for the Neepawa farmers. They're local individuals who take time from their families and their work to play a game they love and to represent Neepawa. The jerseys themselves have the words Neepawa right across the front. They're proud of being part of this community, and they go out there and they play for it. They're in the middle of their postseason. They're having a rough go of it right now. They're down 2-0 to the Killarney Shamrocks, a powerhouse team in the Tiger Hills Hockey League. But Neepawa is still giving it their all there. And we also got a great series as well between the Rivers Jets and the Minnedosa Bombers. We are very Neepawa specific, but we try and reach out to other communities as well, like Minnedosa. And Minnedosa Bombers are very well regarded in that community. So if you're able to go down and check out one of their games as well, I definitely suggest you do. So with that being said, I think we're coming up on the end here. We're going to cut a little bit early. We got some things we got to do. We got some things we got to look after. So we're going to cut out a little bit early, let the commercials, let the sponsors get a little bit of extra time here. But that's why we need your support. If you have any story suggestions or ideas, they're always appreciated. You can give us a call at 476-3401 or send it to us by news at neepawabanner.com. Once again, news at neepawabanner.com. Now, like I said, we're cutting off a little bit earlier, Casper. Like I said, thank you very much. I know you've got events you've got to attend to right now, actually, so appreciate the taking the time.
Yes, and of course, some tonight that I'm looking forward to, and you'll see those in the paper coming up. Thanks again for having me.
And we appreciate you as always. Thank you for tuning in to NAC TV and the story behind the stories.